Okay, good evening, everyone. Today is April 10th, 2024, and I would like to welcome you to the City of Springfield License Commission meeting. I called this meeting to order at 5:32 p.m. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the Springfield Board of License Commissioners hearing held on Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. Did everyone have an opportunity to read the minutes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any questions or changes needed? No. And I make a motion to approve the minutes for the Springfield Board of License Commissioners hearing held on Wednesday, March 27th at 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton? We can't hear you, Peter.
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, and next item is a petition for farmer winery license to sell at farmers market for home fruits wine located at 200 Trafton Street, Sierra Arena parking lot in Forest Park. Lori Perkins, manager of record.
Hello,
Hi, Lori, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So you are here petitioning the seasonal license for the farmers winery.
Correct, for the farmer's market in Forest Park.
Okay,
This would be the 5th or 6th year I think we've done it.
right.
Yep.
Okay. Does the commissioners have any questions for Lori?
Lori, this is May 7th through October 29th from 12:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Is that correct?
Correct, starts the 7th.
Okay.
Okay.
And what day of the week is that?
It's Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? No.
No.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I
Yeah,
make a motion to approve the petition for farmer winery license for what's the name of your winery?
Home fruit wine.
Home fruit wine for the Summers Farmer Market at 200 Trafton Road, the Sierra Arena, for every Tuesday, May 7th through October 29th from 12:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Thank you for coming, Lori. Good luck.
Thank you for having me again this year.
Sure. Next item is an informational hearing for Rose Entertainment LLC DBA Rose at 555 Worthington Street. Antron Goodrich, manager of record. This is in regards to complaint. Is anybody here for Rose? Doesn't look like it.
So we have the complaint to review for tonight on our
We do.
our administrative review. So I was confused as to why they're on the agenda already under this informational hearing. Is it really for that complaint that Barry just investigated, or?
We did, I believe the last meeting we had, we did vote on an informational hearing.
Because we're done with her I'm open thing, right?
Right,
Okay.
correct. Correct.
Okay.
Okay, is there a motion to continue, Rose?
I'll make a motion to continue until April 24th. Do you hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay. Our next item is a new business, and that is the 2024 renewal seasonal license approval for Pit Stop Food and Fuel, Inc., located at 736, 740 Boston Road. And this is a reconsideration. Commissioners, is there, do you want to have a discussion in regards to the reconsideration for Pit Stop Food and Fuel, Inc.?
I think there should be a motion made, if I may,
Okay,
to approve the license, and then a second, and then you can discuss whatever you wish.
then I make a motion to approve the 2024 renewal seasonal license for Pit Stop Food and Fuel located at 736, 740 Boston Road. And I would like to suggest that we extend an extra 10 days to the end of the season to make up for these 10 days. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
No,
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Attorney Bonavita, well, if the commission wants to entertain a discussion at this time in regards to Pit Stop Fuel, Food and Fuel, this is an opportunity to do that.
That's correct. Do you want me to address the commission, or does
Sure.
someone else wanna?
Could
I
you
already
please-
have, if there's something that somebody would like to discuss, I would be certainly willing to add to it.
I just. I don't know, I think we approved it, so why do we need to go any further on a
Well, you-
discussion?
Because there was no second to the motion. Actually, we had an
Yeah.
executive session at 5 o'clock. And all this was explained. This is a renewal. It was not a new license. It wasn't placed on the agenda as a renewal the last time. And some people were confused as to the vote. So this time it is clearly stated it's a renewal. And I'll just leave it at that for now. I did give a very specific explanation in the executive session that prior to this meeting. It was at 5 o'clock.
when were we notified that this executive session was at 5 PM?
There was an
was
email
sent
that
out-
was sent out, I think, yesterday or the day before yesterday.
That
It
the
was just-
executive session was at 5 and the meetings? Oh, okay, I missed that.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I'd like to just bring forward that for myself, and I think some of the commissioners, we were somewhat confused as to whether it was a renewal or was it the extension of hours for the seasonal license. So that, I thought we were voting on the extension, which is why I had voted no. And I assume, and in having a conversation with the other commissioners during executive session, we did agree that we were somewhat confused as to that particular vote. And any other questions?
I'm gonna have to concur, a little bit on the same subject. I was a little confused on this situation. This is one of my concerns. Why I voted no, and also in the fact, after thinking it over some more, I'm like, wait a minute, I voted no on something that was a little bit confusing, and so I'm glad that it came about and we was able to correctly uh correctly do what was and explain and put forward to us.
Okay. Well, I myself would like to apologize to Pit Stop Food and Fuel for not completely understanding what was happening. And we're here to right that wrong. Okay, and which is one of the reasons why we would like to make up by extending those 10 days at the end of the season. Okay. And if we
I
don't,
can say, if you wish, at some point, if you want to hear from me about this, about how this should be considered from a legal standpoint, without going into a lot of details, but I can explain some things. So this is a renewal, and I know people were confused, because it didn't say renewal on the agenda, but it is a renewal. The license was granted last year. So in order to turn down a license at this point, you have to have a valid rationale, such as a valid rationale would be because it was approved last year and it's a renewal. It's not a new license. Would be possibly if there were 4 people applying and you picked someone else over someone else, and of course you'd have to have a very rational reason, or if the person had or if the petitioner had violations, which I have not been informed of any. So it's you have to take a different look at it than if it was a brand new license, because you did approve it last year. The same commission approved it last year. But I just want to point that out on the record. Thanks.
thank you. Is any other comments or discussion?
May I, Attorney Rachel Fancy on behalf of the petitioner?
Yes.
I just wanted to thank the commission for reconsidering this and bringing this back to light. And obviously is something that is personal to my client, and they're greatly appreciative that the board would, one, reconsider it and expedite the process, getting us on the agenda so soon. So we do appreciate the board's assistance and Attorney Bonavita's assistance through this process. So thank you so much for your time tonight and your assistance.
For understanding. Okay, I would like to move on to the second item under new business. That's a discussion of rules and regulations for BYOB with licensees. Attorney Bonavita,
Yeah.
are we speaking to each one of the licensees? Being that I believe they're all here.
I don't think you have to vote on the other 2 because they were approved. I was more concerned about a denial, because obviously a denial you can be there's legal ramifications from.
Right, no, this is on the second item, which is the discussion of rules and regulations for the BYOB.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh,
Yes,
so
I
I believe you have the have
Yes, I
the
do.
information on the BYOB.
Yes, and
Okay,
they're all people online here to be or on Zoom.
um,
Various people that have this type of
They're-
license.
I see, offsite is here. Who is here for the BYOB?
Yazan from Petra.
Petra, okay. Who else? Anybody else here for BYOB? I see offsite is here, but they're probably not on.
Yeah, I'm here. Offsite is here.
Okay. Anybody else for BYOB?
I'm confused. Are we discussing the changes to the rules and regulations that we're supposed to be working on?
No. This was kind of an update to the BYOB so that they understood there was some concern in the legal department that was voiced to me that they never had gone over these before. So that's why we mailed out the regulations to anybody that had a license, BYOB license. Changes that'll be in the future.
Okay.
I mean, if offsite is on there, I could do it pretty quickly.
Let me see, Louis, where are you from? We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Looks like he may represent Saboris and Montezuma's.
Or is Louis? You can hear us, Louis? Okay, so we can't hear you, so we'll use a little bit of sign language. Okay. An iPhone, who, your name?
Luis,
Luis from
es por la taquería del pueblo, bar and restaurant,
La Taquería del Pueblo.
bar and
That's
restaurant.
Okay,
Oh,
okay. So that's our
there's,
next, that's under old business.
Can I just ask a question to the chair? What was the vote on the seasonal license? What was the actual vote? Was it a
4-1.
4-1.
4-1? Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I noted that. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Anybody else here for BYOB? Okay, so we do have 3 out of 5, Attorney Bonavita.
Okay. So I'll just go through briefly. Hopefully they can hear us. I know the commission knows this. It's more for their edification. They have to abide by section 5.7 of BYOB licenses. I'm just going to go through it very quickly. If there's any questions afterwards, please have them ask. It lists at the beginning various types of alcohol, all alcoholic, beer and wine, cordials, and there's certain sizes for each designation that you have to abide by. You have to be careful about the rules. If you go to F, section F of the regulations, it determines that only patrons can bring in the alcohol. Patrons bringing it in must order food, so there has to be food available. The wait staff must be 18 years age or older. Patrons under 21 should not be allowed to consume, carry in alcohol. You have to be 21 years or older to consume alcohol, any type of alcoholic beverage. The manager of record shall complete. This is very important. The online insurance industry approved safe service of alcohol training programs. If there's new employees, that has to be prior to the first license, which obviously these people already have licenses. Employees hired after the issuance of a BYOB permit must complete an in-person insurance industry approved safe service program. If you go down to L, they can't be consumed, which very obviously by an intoxicated person. People cannot leave the premises with an open container. Any unconsumed alcoholic beverage must be left on the premises and disposed immediately by the staff. Any wine or malt beverage that is not finished may be taken home if properly resealed in accordance with the regulations. The licensee must abide by Mass General Laws 138 and all regulations of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission and the Board of License Commissioners and the rules and regulations. They have to allow inspection by the Springfield Police Department or the agent of the licensed commissioners. Could be a police officer, could be somebody from the fire department, and nothing prohibits them from making additional rules that don't conflict with these rules. So they're supposed to have, it's my understanding, they're supposed to post a license in a conspicuous location. They're supposed to have read the regulations and responsible to give that information to their employees, have them accessible. And I think that's pretty much about it. It then goes into, those are the major points. It then goes into complaint procedures of hearings, and violations, what the ramifications of violations are. So we just want to make it clear to all these license holders that they have to abide by the regulations. There was some concern in the legal department about that. It was given to me, and that's why this was on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Bonavita. Are there any questions from like BYOB licensees for Attorney Bonavita?
No.
No. Okay, so what I suggest is if you do have that information at hand, that you do review it. If you don't, you can always look it up or even call the license office, and maybe we can give you a copy of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Has anything been updated on the list in itself that maybe hasn't been added in addition since beginning of the year or this year itself?
Attorney Bonavita, do you have an answer?
What was that again, please? I'm sorry.
Has
I
anything
just
been
wanted to find out.
updated?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We just, he just wants to know if there has been any updates since January.
Not to my knowledge. So if you want to call the office, the License Board of Commissions, we can get that information for you if there are any, but not, I have the regulations and I didn't see any updates on that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have our regulations posted with our license.
Okay. Thank you,
Good.
everyone, for
you.
coming.
So,
Thank you.
Are we voting on whether to approve the renewal of these, or how are these renewed and issued?
Well, that's part of the issue that we're going over, because for years they were just kind of automatically renewed, and that's my understanding. I don't think that, if anybody's aware, did any come in front of you for renewals at any point?
Never.
Yeah, that's the reason why. That's what part of what was relayed to me as an issue of concern. I think they were kind of like, they sent in the fee, the application for renewal, and it was automatically approved.
I do remember we did have that discussion, and we did suggest that perhaps whenever someone applies for BYOB, that they do come in front of the commission. I remember that conversation.
Yeah, I do. And part of the problem was they were receiving the guidelines and regulations, but they were not reading them. And so we, in fact, wanted them to come before us so we could make sure that they get the information. But there are two individuals who are not here, two entities. So
Yeah.
how do they get the information?
We mailed it to them. We mailed them copies of this section of the regulations.
Okay.
I mean, we could, if there's some problem with either one of them, obviously you have a right to inspect it. Send somebody in to inspect them at any time.
Right. Okay, thank you. Next is, old business. And that's Palati Inc., DBA Palati at 8 Tembe Road. Jose Hernandez, manager of record, letting La Taqueria del Pueblo Bar and Restaurant operate and purchase liquor with Palati liquor license. The license is fully executed. I mean, the lease, I'm so sorry. The lease is fully executed, is what I have.
We got an email from Edna saying it wasn't.
It wasn't, right?
Mhm.
It's not, I can report on that because I was contacted by Attorney Van Johnson. And he indicated to me that they're working on it. They're waiting for additional. I think one lawyer had sent it to the other and are waiting to hear back. So it is in process of being resolved. He asked if it could be put on for the April 24th meeting. And I think we received, I think Mr. Hernandez, if I'm not mistaken, I recall getting some notice from Mr. Hernandez through Edna,
Right.
that something to that effect.
Right,
So,
something about his end being done, but it was held up at the other attorney's office.
Right.
So I did read that as well. Okay, then, what I'll do is make a motion to extend the, Palati Inc., DBA Palati at 8 Tembe Road, Jose Hernandez, manager of record, letting La Taqueria del Pueblo Bar and Restaurant operate and purchase liquor with a Palati liquor license, to our next, April 24th to 2024 meeting. Is there a
Second.
second?
Second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Luis,
Ujú.
¿tú nos entendiste?
Sí, permítame un segundo. Sí, estaba entendiendo. Lo que pasa que yo tengo el contrato aquí, pero
Ya.
el abogado no me explicó bien. Incluso hoy me lo entregó, pero no me explicó. Entonces estaba tratando de leerlo, pero no me están poniendo las cosas que yo había, digamos, comprado lo de adentro. Solo me pusieron que estaba rentando nada más. Entonces he pagado a José por una cierta cantidad. Entonces,
Ok, so lo que hicimos fue, Luis, que nosotros vamos a extender esta reunión a usted hasta en abril 24, porque
abril
su abogado necesita más tiempo. Ok, estoy más que seguro que para hablar sobre lo que usted está hablando ahora mismo, no podemos ahora mismito nosotros hablar de eso aquí ahora, pero su abogado pidió una extensión hasta el 24 de abril.
Ok,
Ok.
está.
Ok,
Ok.
so nos vemos el 24 de abril.
Ok, también muchas gracias.
Aquí a las órdenes. I just
Rosa,
want-
is he still out of the water, not being able to serve food there?
Luis, todavía usted no tiene lugar abierto. No está
No.
sirviendo comida.
No, yo no estoy abriendo por ahora.
No, he's still closed.
Okay, so I just want to say that I think that for whatever reason, I forget the reason, we can't allow him to at least open to serve food there. Yet I read in Mass Live that the place to be over at the Hall of Fame still in April of 2024 has not had their common vic all alcohol restaurant license approved by the ABCC, yet they are open serving food. So how is that fair to Luis?
I think, if I remember correctly, the problem was the fact that he does not have a lease. the lease hasn't been signed yet. So because they don't have a contract, he cannot open his doors.
Attorney Bonavita, do we have any inkling of how soon this lease is going to be? I mean, this guy's been out of the water for months now.
I wish I could give you a very specific answer, but I can't.
Oh,
My understanding is they're going back and forth with, one attorney presented the lease, the other one has certain issues. They raised it to the other. It's been going back and forth. I know Attorney Van Johnson told me that he thinks they'll be ready to address the issues on April 24th. And he has to be continued to that date.
and that will be the
that's the best.
transfer application.
Hopefully,
Hopefully.
that would be,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's the best information I can give you.
Okay.
Ok, señor Luis, gracias y los vemos entonces abril 24.
Ok, está bien, muchas gracias.
Ok, buenas noches. Okay, next item is the administrative review of incident reports. We have the Harmony Lodge for an incident on March 22nd, 2024. Barry, do you wanna tell us a little bit more about this particular incident?
Excuse me, for BYOB, are we all set?
You're all set. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Have a good one.
You too. Barry, before you go on Ms. Costa, Carol, hi, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Gotta unmute Carol. No. Gotta unmute.
We can't hear you. You're muted. You have to unmute. Okay, I was just wondering who she's here with. I didn't
Yeah.
know if okay,
If-
can you
if I-
figure out unmuting yourself? We can't hear you. Okay, we're gonna continue until she figures out how to
Yeah,
unmute
click on that little
herself.
red microphone icon.
Right. Do you see the microphone icon? No. No, nothing. Okay, Barry, I think you have the floor now.
Okay, were there questions on the Harmony Lodge?
I did read it and I did see that there was a fight, an altercation between two people. And the employee did call the police, but are there any questions in regards to the Harmony incident?
From us.
Yes.
Well, I was startled when I got to the point in the report where there was an unconscious person laying on the floor who had been hit by a chair.
Right.
This is pretty bad.
Mhm.
And I'm just finishing 21 years on this commission, and I do not recall an incident at Harmony Lodge in 21 years. It's a very peaceful, sedate crowd. And then I got to the part of the report where the 5 people, 25% of the people in the club were not members. And that is a concern. And I think that is what was that is why this incident happened. They had no idea who these people were in the club. And this is a club license and only open to club members and guests of club members who should be signed in a journal kept at the door. Now, I've been on an inspection out to the Tiffany Street Elks Lodge, and I'd be buzzed in like a speakeasy. Like, who are you? Why are you here? And explain who I was and why I was there, and that I was not a member, and then they allowed me in because I had my badge. But I think this problem stems from that, and I think they did the right thing. They called the police, and I don't see a problem there, but I do see a problem with this allowing non-members into the lodge, and I would recommend an informational hearing with them to discuss that with them, that they, this is why this happened and you can't allow this.
I agree. You want to make
I
a
make a
motion?
motion for an informational hearing with Harmony Lodge for the incident of March 22nd, 2024. Do I hear a second?
There's
Second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes,
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay. Next report is from Club Nor for an incident of March 21st, 2024. And we did touch up on this one during our last meeting. This was the complaint that was sent in. Am I right, Barry? It was sent to us, to the commissioners. Well, Attorney Bonavita, I think you and I spoke about it.
Yes, that's true. There was
The
a complaint filed with the
Okay.
commission. A copy was sent.
Okay.
Out.
Barry, were you able to speak to this person at all?
No, as the report says, and I know I spoke to you about this too, you replied to her via email. I
Right.
also tried to email her. I sent the email to the email address that she had sent the complaint to you guys. There was no response. I tried to identify her through the name in the email. There's nothing in our record system even close. And so there was no further contact with her. I did talk to the manager of record who was aware of it. They were having a memorial service or a celebration of life service there. It was towards the end of the night. And I'm not sure if you guys had the opportunity to view the video. I know it was included in the email.
We did not
Yeah,
receive
it
the
was there.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
got
did.
the link.
The video?
It was
It was
there.
there. Yeah, there's a link.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay,
I saw it.
okay.
What time did this happen, Barry? This incident?
The exact, I don't know because
Oh.
I spoke to the complainant because she didn't get back to us. If you watch the video, you can hear, I don't know if it's the DJ, it's a male on the on a microphone saying, telling everyone basically relax. It's been a good night. We're about to be out of here, relax. So the manager of record did tell me it happened right towards the end of the night, which kind of coincides with what you hear on that video. You hear the male telling them that they're about to be out. So based on that, I'm assuming it was towards the end of the night.
But nobody called the police.
They did not call the police. Again, I think if you watch that video, it literally lasts 30 seconds.
Mhm.
And it's broken up by patrons and the security. I know that the complainant seemed concerned that they didn't do it quick enough, but if you actually time out that whole altercation, it's much less than a minute. And there is a security guard there right away, and other patrons are also seen separating the females.
I did see on that video, Barry, where it looks like the security did throw someone out. Whoever was in the pile there, and it looked like they escorted someone out the door. I don't know if that was the aggressor or something like that, but it did show that they did escort a person outside the premises.
Right. And it also, there's, the lady says she was assaulted again after. You actually see that on the video as well. It's kind of weird that the girl who, I believe it's the one who filed this complaint, is standing there. The other girl's right near her. They exchange words and the girl throws one punch at her. And again, they're separated right away by other patrons and security. So it's kind of tough because the complainant didn't come forward. I mean, if there was more information, we don't have it. All we have is that short video.
So she just filed this complaint and now she's ignoring you.
It wasn't even on a complaint form. It was an email that was sent
Yeah.
to the license commissioners.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So again, she didn't provide any contact information. All we had is an email address, which
Mm.
we got no response. I got no response. Commissioner Espinoza got no response. She replied to her and encouraged her to reach out to me with my contact information, and there's been no contact.
Right.
And
That's-
it looks like that she must have got that email, that footage from someone else.
But she did say that that it went viral.
Okay.
So she probably took it from Facebook.
Oh, yeah. My employees were showing it to me. Yeah. Look at this. Called Club Noir. Oh, great.
Just curious, how was it brought to our attention?
She sent an email.
You sent an email, okay.
She
And
sent
had a
an
link?
email. She sent an email to. She addressed one to me, and
Yeah, I
then
see
she
it.
sent it again to everyone on the
Yeah.
commission.
Yeah,
Mhm.
all right. Yeah, I see Peter's copied, Barry, Andy. I wasn't, and it doesn't look like John was either. Okay, because I never saw that. That's why I asked.
Okay, yeah, and like Barry said, I did reach out to her using the same email. I replied, and I encouraged her to make contact with either myself or Barry, but she
Okay.
did not reach out at all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so is there a motion for an informational hearing?
To discuss what?
You know, is there a motion?
The fact that they didn't call the police? I mean, I don't know what we would discuss with them.
Okay, so I make a motion to take no action. Is there a second?
Hold on.
Is there another motion?
I'll second.
You'll second my motion?
I will do that for you. Yes. You're welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Thingottor,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinoza, yes. Okay,
God, he keeps us in suspense all the time.
I know, he does. Okay, and then the last one is Rose for the March 17, 2024 complaint. And this one is about the loud noise and business practices at Rose.
Business.
Yeah, there was a if
We
you
have two people
recall our
complaining,
last,
right? It's not just the guy next door. It's somebody in an apartment across the street and
right, there's, I
I
think
don't know how
it's
she's ever gonna keep her music
Mhm.
from being heard, 50 feet from 50 feet away when this guy is right next door.
Right.
But Barry, you've reviewed all this with her and she says she understands this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I talked to him too. If you remember, he's the guy who showed up at the last meeting,
Right.
Right.
but we weren't reviewing his complaint
Right.
because I haven't forwarded it yet.
Right.
An incident that happened at like 2 a.m. That's what you reviewed last time. So this one actually happened like at 6:30 at night on St. Patrick's Day. This guy says he saw a guy was overserved in the parking lot and the police detained him. That guy wasn't not a patron. He was not drunk. He was high on drugs. So he called for that, but he also called for the noise. There were numerous callers. Well, there was one other caller, a female that lives in the apartment building, which is on the Winter Street side of Rose. And that's the door apparently they use on the Winter Street side, not the Worthington Street door.
Right.
So I talked to him, I put in the report, his house is less than a foot away, like literally you can't fit between Rose and his house. He's on the,
Yeah.
well, he's Worthington Street. He lives one house, I mean, there's
Next door.
almost no space.
How does he
Um,
wash his windows? That's what I want to know.
So he told me after this complaint, they've actually met and talked face to face.
Hmm.
And that prior to this, he had her phone number already and he had sent her texts on a couple of occasions and that she always responded. So he would send her a text, hey, it's a little too loud. And it would get turned down to an acceptable level. He said on this day, he texted her, he got no response. That's why he called. Since the call, obviously, and before I talked to either one of them, they had touched base, they had met up. And he had said the following weekend, at least the 2 days he was home, the noise wasn't an issue. But again, I'm not sure how that's gonna moving forward because they are so close. I mean, it's basically part of Rose. I mean, he's right on top of it.
Right.
And when she turns the music down, does it stay down?
It must. He didn't say that it went back up. He just said he had texted her on other days when it was an issue and that she turned the music down to an acceptable level where he couldn't hear it. The lady that lived on Winter Street,
Hmm.
he said it pretty much every time that door gets opened,
Yep.
her windows shake. And that building's, I didn't measure it, but I would say it's right around 50 feet away from Rose.
Oh.
I mean, it's on the opposite corner.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you,
Is there-
Barry.
Is there a reason she's using the back door instead of the front door?
That I don't know. I know that's where the sign is too. She has a sign
Oh, she has a sign.
at the back door, yeah. And that's the one they've been using since they opened. The old awning is still on the Worthington Street side. And they don't use that door.
Oh.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
what are we having an informational with her to make sure she understands this? Are we waiting for another complaint?
Well, it seems like they talked it out, so.
Neither one of them is here.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Oh.
I'm not sure they were notified. When I spoke to her was last week and she hadn't heard anything at that point. I did tell her he was here the meeting before. He must have saw it on the agenda and
Yeah.
then she said, oh, I'll probably hear something by Friday, but I did look Monday, there were no noise complaints this past weekend either. And I gave him my office number. I told him, hey, if you have to call, just leave me a message too, and then I'll follow up Monday. There were no messages from him, and I did the same thing with the lady on Winter Street. She doesn't want to come forward at this point. But I told her the same thing. If you have to call, call me and leave me a message as well, so I can just follow up on it to make sure we stay on top of it. So this doesn't turn into another issue.
Yeah.
We had
That's
Right.
that's why it sounded familiar.
Right.
right,
But I think
Right.
anytime they're gonna have a large event like St. Patrick's Day, a lot of people are gonna be in the facility and it's automatically, it's gonna turn the volume up. So
right.
that's gonna happen again.
Once upon a time, back when I think it's called Brickyard Tavern now, which is out in Indian Orchard, just
Roger.
by the bridge. And the previous licensee there, we were getting repeated complaints from a woman who lived across the street above a bridal shop. And it was the same thing with the door opening. And I went out there at midnight and stood in front of her bridal shop and listened. And every time that door opened, boy, that And that place was rocking. I mean, the music was really loud and it just spilled out into the street all over the, you could hear it everywhere. And the door would shut and it would quiet down again. Somebody else would open the door and it would, it was keeping her awake until 2 o'clock in the morning, and they eventually went away. And then we've had no complaints since then, but sometimes it's the intermittency of it, loud, soft, loud, soft, loud, soft every time the door opens. And I can't remember if they resolved the problem and just left and the new licensee took over. But it doesn't sound like by using that door, if the music is loud, that this woman is going to have peace. But we'll see if she continues to make complaints, I guess.
So is there a motion? No. Any suggestion do we bring her in to make sure that she understands, or we wait for the next complaint, like Peter said?
I don't think we need a motion, because just the fact of the intel that we got, that she and the complainant talked it out and apparently must have worked something out. If that seems to failed, that's what I feel maybe we should get involved. Other than that, we should let them clear their own battles and work on their own, and not us to interfere in that until something it's unreachable.
Okay.
Well, there's an incident report on our agenda. We have to dispose of it somehow. What if we continue it generally?
You
I
could
make a
do that.
motion to continue this incident report generally. Do I
Is
hear
there a second?
Second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, that is it.
Can I just cut in 1 second?
Yes, sir.
I want to make sure everybody realize you also voted on the minutes, the executive session minutes. They're very simple. It just says that there was an executive, this is on the last meeting.
Yeah.
Concerning quick fix. Was everybody aware of that when they voted on that? The minutes?
Yes,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I was aware.
Okay,
For everybody.
thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, and have a good night. And
All right.
I make a motion to adjourn at 6:24 p.m.
Second.
I thought we were gonna be here and discuss this. Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Attorney Bonavita, for meeting with us earlier today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.